back, BookTube. This is gonna be my December book haul slash mostly centered around Christmas slash a couple of random books I picked up. Right after I started my book channel, my wife and I really cut down on the books we were buying, not intentionally. It was just a combination of having less money, the holidays meaning less time, and we were out of town for about a week, so I do apologize. Typically I would have already updated a couple of book haul videos. I think I actually did one. I filmed a bunch of videos at one time, and that's when I realized that the sound on my camera went out, so I kind of had to scrap all of them, unfortunately. So, like I said, most of these are around Christmas. The first few I'm going to show are books that I picked up mostly before Christmas, although 3 of these were still in the month of December. So the first one that I have is The Best Short Stories of Jack London. At the same time, I also bought The Sea Wolf by Jack London. These were both books that I bought after reading Call the Wild and White Fang, and I probably went out and got more of Jack London's book to read because that was the only one I had, and I'm very excited to get to read these. I don't know when yet, but hopefully pretty soon. I also picked up the stories of F. Scott Fitzgerald. If you have watched my Gatsby rant, you know that I'm not a huge fan of F. Scott Fitzgerald. However, I've only ever read The Great Gatsby, and again, my feelings towards it is not that it's a horrible book or that he's a horrible author, but that I just think he's really overrated. But I still want to give him a shot as an author, so I decided to pick that up, and it was pretty cheap. The next 4 books that I got are actually ones that my mom picked up for me. My mom is awesome and amazing, and even though she lives half a country away, she's always on the lookout for books for my wife and I. And she found this. It's a box set by R.A. Salvatore called The Legacy of the Drow. I've only read one R.A. Salvatore book, and that was the first in the New Jedi Order series, Spectre Prime. But I was really impressed with it. I thought it was very well written. I thought the culture building was just phenomenal. So my mom texted me actually a couple months ago and said she found these for like $3. And I'm typically not a fan of paperback. This is a really nice box set, and you probably won't be able to tell from here, but the spines, like of 3 of them, haven't even been read. It's only been 1. But so the first book is The Legacy, followed by Starless Night, then Siege of the Darkness, and Passage to Dawn. Those are 4 books that aren't very high up on my reading list, but I am happy to have them. One, it's like a very cool box set, and they were basically new except for the first one. Looks like it's been read through 1 time. So I was excited to get those. Then starts the Christmas festivities. First are from some good friends of my wife and I's, and I'm one of those people who typically doesn't exchange presents with a lot of people, or hardly anyone outside of family. But there's a family that my wife and her parents are very good friends with that are really cool people, and they have this tradition of exchanging presents every year, and it's actually kind of cool. I really enjoy it, and they're just amazing people and amazing gift givers. So they got my wife The Princess Bride in hardcover, and I know you can't feel it, but this is probably one of the heftier hardcovers that I've ever lifted. I think it's the 30th anniversary edition or something, but it's a really gorgeous book. It has laminated pages, also has some like real basic illustrations thrown in there. My wife and I are actually planning on reading through The Princess Bride together. I've never read through it. I don't think she has. So we're planning on reading through it in February and then doing like a dual review. I've been trying to think of ideas to get my wife involved in my videos because she's a lot cooler of a person than I am. And I think that's one of the neat ways to do it, so I can't wait to do that. And then for me, they got me this like incredible book, The Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. This is a book that John Carter, the movie, was based off of. And as soon as I found out that the movie, who I actually enjoyed, even though a lot of other people didn't, as soon as I found out the movie was based off a book, I wanted to get the book, and I just never came across it. I'm one of those, like I said, I don't buy a lot of books new, so I typically go through used bookstores or thrift shops, so it's kind of hit or miss, and I'd always miss this one. But this is an absolutely amazing book. You can see it's illustrated by Michael Kaluta, and it's just There's these really gorgeous illustrations all throughout the book. Like I said, has to be one of my favorite books now. Just for the look, it has like a leather feel to it. It's really cool. I was incredibly excited to get this book. This next set of books is actually books that I got my wife for Christmas, and those three will come later. I got her a couple of Doctor Who books, The Prisoner of the Daleks, and Touched by an Angel. This deals with those of y'all who follow Doctor Who. This deals with the Weeping Angels and the Daleks, which are two of the most awesome villains created by Doctor Who. And so I'm hoping that they'll be pretty good books. It's one of those, I got it for my wife, but I'm also really excited to read them. Don't know when that'll happen, but she really liked them, so that was the whole main goal of getting her a present. Then I got her The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery. I've heard a lot about this book, and I've heard several people say that it really that captures the love of books incredibly well, and I thought my wife would really like it, and again, she'd heard a lot about it and thought she would like it, so that was a good present. I also got her the Word Cloud edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which she loves. She already had Persuasion. I think she already had one of the other Jane Austens and Word Cloud, so this added to her collection, and these books are just, they're really neat additions, and they're only $15, which is I think is a pretty good price for the quality that you're getting. The next set are books that my wife got me. The first one is one that I'm really excited to read, and I think just has a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, is The Man Who Loved Books Too Much by Aslan Hoover Bartlett. This is essentially the story of a thief who steals rare books, but he doesn't steal them for money. He steals them because he loves books, and then it's the story of him being pursued by an amateur detective. I haven't heard anything about it, but the story just seems awesome. I'm actually planning on reading this. I'm going to try and read it in January. It looks really cool, and like I said, the cover is like a huge bookshelf with really awesome books, so that's awesome. The next that she got me is The Know-It-All by A.J. Jacobs. This is one man's humble quest to become the smartest person in the world. She said it kind of reminded her of me. I guess I'll take that as a good thing for right now. And again, that's one of those I'm going to try and read sometime in the first part of the year. We'll see how that works out. The next, my wife and her family and myself, we did kind of a themed Christmas. Everyone picked out their 5 favorite movies and then picked one of them out without knowing which one that person had picked and showed it to the rest of the people. And then everyone bought gifts themed off of that movie. The movie I picked was Angels in the Outfield, and my wife got me all 3 baseball-themed books. The Comeback by Dave Dravecky, and I'm pretty sure I've heard of Dave Dravecky before, probably because he's a baseball player. Also, Kiss It Goodbye by John Moody. And then The Whiz Kids and the 1950 Pennant by Robin Roberts and C. Paul Rogers III. So those are all cool. More books to pad my nonfiction shelf. And probably, out of all the books you got me, the one I'm most excited about is this beauty. Aragon's A Guide to Iglesia. And this is just an awesome, awesome book. It just has all these beautiful illustrations. It also has, let me see if I can show you. It also has like these things that almost like a pop-up book, I guess, but that fold out that include additional notes. It's really cool, and this is one, again, I didn't really want to buy it new, but I had been looking for it used and could never find it, and my wife bought it for me, and I am super, super excited about this. It's just incredible. This now I officially have every book that Christopher Paolini wrote. This next set is, and in addition to those books, my wife also got me gift cards. One gift card to Books A Million, and then one to Second and Charles, which, as I mentioned before, is an insanely cool used bookstore. And let me see if I can split these up to where I got them from. So the first 3 I got from Books A Million, all off of their clearance section. And both stores were having a buy 2, get 1 free on their clearance books. It was really cool. So I got Chain of Thunder by Jeff Shera. And I've never read any of his books, but I was telling my wife, I really respect his writing and the fact that he's a historical fiction writer who does just an insane amount of research, and so I'm looking forward to getting to read that one. I also got The Walking Dead Road to Woodbury. This is the second of the Walking Dead books. I have the first one and I'm halfway through it and I need to finish it, but I like the idea of owning them because it's a pretty cool series, so I picked that up. Then, my third purchase from Books A Million is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 2 of the Stormlight Archive. I don't have book 1. I've never read anything by Brandon Sanderson, but he keeps coming up as very highly recommended, and I don't know if you can tell, this is a big book. It's like over 1,000 pages long, which I'm pretty sure makes it the biggest book that I own, and I love big books, so that's cool. It's just really, like, it's a cool edition, and then the back of it has this map. I thought it was very cool, and I got it for like $7. So I figured I couldn't go wrong there. I should be able to eventually pick up the first book and then start the series at some point. The next 3 books were all books that I got from Second and Charles. I got this really cool copy of Call of the Wild and White Fang just because I wanted another copy. I also got another copy of The Seawolf by Jack London. I don't know if you're going to say to see that one or not because of the glare. This is a Reader's Digest edition. I like hardback. I know I already had the paperback, but I decided to get hardback because it was Christmas. I also got The Long Valley by John Steinbeck. Pretty sure this is a collection of his short stories. I've only ever read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, but it was just incredibly beautifully and masterfully written. He's one of my favorite authors. So I figured I couldn't go wrong buying more books from him. And that was it. That was our Christmas haul. No, it was not quite our Christmas haul. My wife, when we went book shopping, also picked up a few books. Sorry, I don't know what's on my knee. It's embarrassing. She got 2 of the Nancy Drew case files, 2 Points of Murder and Deadly Doubles. These are both hardback, which are pretty hard to find. We picked these up at Second and Charles, which we were very happy about. We have, I think, 2 or 3 others in hardback. Like I said, you don't come across them very often, and they're in pretty good shape for being used. We also picked up this version of The Secret of the Old Clock, except it has this really cool, like, dust jacket on it, which I'd never seen before. So it's like a reprint, like an 80s reprint. It's the revised edition, but it has the original cover, and then it has this really cool dust jacket, which frames the picture just really cool. So we picked it up. It was like $3, and I'm pretty sure, it's basically new. So that was my wife and I's Christmas/random books collection. I'm very happy about that. Now we just have to find more room for our books. I'm going to try and include pictures of our current bookshelf situation. The first you can see is kind of this is in our kitchen. It's our children's shelf with a couple of vintage books on the bottom. Then this next picture is our Stratemeyer Syndicate shelf, which is kind of our vintage children's books collection. And then coming into our room, which is the bookshelf I'm sitting behind, covers my science fiction, fantasy, and then kind of the action, what I've kind of concluded is action adventure. It's probably more like thrillers. And then also has mystery and our classics. Then going into the living room, the first shelf you'll see is my wife's Jane Austen collection, which also includes Jane Austen fan fiction. The next shelf is my wife's romance books, followed by our non-fiction shelf. It has historical non-fiction, it has reference materials, and then just other non-fiction books along with our oversized books. So you can tell we're basically out of space. Those pictures are without the books that I just showed you, and you can tell by the last picture we already have books randomly sitting on the floor. So yeah, we're kind of strapped for space. But our anniversary is January 4th, which is coming up here in a couple of days. And in order to celebrate it, we are going to IKEA and buying a couple more bookshelves. And then for our anniversary, that's part of the present. And then the rest of the present will be trying to figure out how to fit the shelves into our apartment and deciding how we want to organize them. But we're both super excited about that because we've needed more shelves for a long time, and we're using the excuse of an anniversary to buy some more. So I can't wait. I might do a video around that, I don't know, but my wife and I are both very excited about that. So it's been a very good Christmas. Hopefully it'll be a good New Year's and a great anniversary for my wife and I. I hope you all have a good New Year's. Actually, I hope you all had a good New Year's, because it's New Year's Eve right now. I probably won't be posting this video until after New Year's. So I hope everyone had a great and safe New Year's, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.